Am I the arsehole for asking my boyfriend to stop being friends with someone? I know how that sounds, so let me explain. Me and my boyfriend Luca have been going out for about 2 years and everything's been going great. And he has a best friend called Tammy, and I'm not gonna lie, their relationship makes me very uncomfortable. So about 4 years ago, Tammy and Luca actually hooked up. He said it was just a one-time thing and they very quickly realised that they were just better off as friends. This didn't bother me. He was very upfront about it and made it very clear that they were just friends now. He had a life before me and I very much appreciated his honesty. So one day near the beginning of our relationship, Luca looked upset. I asked him what was up and he said that he told Tammy that he was getting serious with someone and she had freaked out. And she said that she thought that at some point they would have got together eventually, even though she had a boyfriend at the time. So at the time, Tammy and Luca weren't anything, they were just having fun with people in between relationship. And this had really upset Luca because he thought they were just friends, so he felt totally blindsided by this information. He then didn't speak to Tammy for 6 months. So 6 months later, Tammy calls and she apologises. Said that she was in a bad place with her then boyfriend and that she missed his friendship. Luca spoke to me about it and I said I was fine with it as long as he was clear that they were just friends. Now I've been with my partner for 2 years and I met Tammy twice. Every time I'd invite to something that was a group event, she'd always say no and I didn't think too much of it. However, she then started to make appearances when I wasn't there or I was away for work. So she started to call up Luca and ask if he was alone or if I was busy, and if she'd had a bad day, she would say she just needed time alone with her friend. I finally snapped when I was away last weekend. So Luca had posted a picture of him and Tammy out for drinks. I had invited her to 6 different events this year, but she said she couldn't commit to anything until June 2023 because her schedule was too busy. I said to Luca, it upsets me that you only hang out when I'm not there because it makes me think something's going on. I don't mind them hanging out by themselves, but every time I'm away, Tammy is suddenly free. Originally, Luca said that he thought I was overreacting, but now he says that he sees my side of the story and he won't be friends with Tammy anymore. Am I the arsehole for not taking down a video that was a gift from my best man? I have a sister that is 6 years older than me. And for years, my parents have cancelled on me last minute because of my sister. If I have a basketball game, it's always, oops, your sister doesn't feel like going. Or even I'm graduating and it's, sorry, your sister had a bad day at work. They have missed both major and minor events in my life because of my sister's meltdowns. So recently I met the love of my life and we decided to tie the knot. And from the beginning I told my parents that I was worried my sister would ruin another special event in my life. But my mum told me over and over again that don't worry, that will not happen. On the day of my wedding I received a voicemail from my mum. She was basically telling me that my sister's dog was sick and she was upset. I can't lie, I was so hurt. The best man, however, he's a little bit of a joker. He took my phone and then went to my fiance and asked if he could post a video of our wedding on social media as a gift. And they said that they loved the idea. Basically, I had no idea about it until I got home. So we went straight to our honeymoon and our honeymoon was on this gorgeous lakeside cabin, but that meant that we had no phone service at all. But the post's caption was, "To my best friend, you're an amazing person, even if their parents never showed up for them." The video was like a compilation of me with my partner's parents, me on the dance floor, cutting the cake. It was basically pictures where you would normally see both sets of parents. And if you think that's bad, it gets so much worse. The sound playing in the background of the video was the voicemail my mum had sent to me explaining why she couldn't come to the wedding. And that she wasn't there because my sister's dog was sick. I kid you not, I came home a week later from hundreds of messages from family on both sides insisting that I take the video down. I was told that my sister hadn't stopped crying, my mum was refusing to leave the house, and I may be the arsehole here, but I didn't take it down when I got those messages. And I didn't call any of my family back right away. I just wanted to spend time with my new partner in my new house, and I waited for my vacation time at work to be over before I contacted anyone. My dad kept calling me and telling me that it was just a bad night for them and that they would make it up for not being at the wedding. My reply was, how do you expect to make it up? It was a once in a lifetime thing. And that they just kept choosing to ignore my feelings in the whole matter. And I told him that I would take the video down on the day that he made it up to me for missing my wedding.
I ruined my boyfriend's mom's family celebration. She berated me so much that I cried and now I don't know how to fix the situation. I'm female 18 and my boyfriend, let's call him E, is male 20 and we've known each other since I was 10. I had a somewhat neglectful family, no father around, and my mom who paid more attention to the next man that she brought home, and they were just all over ignoring me. When I was 10, we moved. I met E at school. We started playing together after school. Had plenty of time, especially since my mom would rarely pick me up from school, and I don't think that she cared about how I got home or if I did. Anyway, after some time, E told his parents, now 51 male and 48 female, that I wasn't being picked up, and one day they came to me and offered me a ride. That's exactly when my life started to get better. Both of his parents showed me what being cared for looked like, and I felt love for the first time there. They basically took over everything for my mom, and she was fine with it as long as I was home by 10 p.m. I need to admit that E's dad was always closer to me, and I really bonded with him so much. But his mom was always really nice to me and treated me with love, though not as much affection. That changed when I was 16. I didn't know what changed, but suddenly E's mom became distant. It wasn't blatant, it was obvious, but she talked to me less and got irritated with me quicker, especially when I messed something up. And believe me, my ADHD ass do be messing up a lot. E confessed that he had feelings for me 7 months ago when we were 17 and 19, shortly before my 18th birthday. Once again, I'm currently over 18. His dad was, and I believe still is, overjoyed for us. His mom, however, never commented on our relationship. She was rather quiet when I came over and just looked at me weird. I didn't pay too much attention to that at the time. Fast forward to a week ago. My boyfriend's family has this dinner family tradition kind of thing, and they treat it very seriously, like more important than Christmas. They invited me over and invited me to the celebration. I felt honored and immediately offered to cook something for dinner. E's mother immediately scoffed and said that it should have been obvious that I'm expected to cook something. I felt embarrassed and apologized straight away. Then she told me exactly what I was supposed to make. The day of the celebration, I came with everything and additional stuff too, like cookies and cake. When I walked into the kitchen and gave everything to E's parents, his mom didn't even greet me. She just took everything aggressively from my hands and waved me off. I was hurt, but I figured that she was stressed out because extended family was coming. So many people in her house and stuff. When everyone came and we sat down at the table and started eating, E's mom took some of my food on her plate and quite literally spat it back out after trying. She looked at me with such anger that I froze and asked how I could have screwed up so bad with such a simple dish. I was speechless. E, his dad, and one of his aunts tried to defend me, but she silenced him and started trying other dishes I cooked. Too many spices, too little spices, all the wrong spices, overcooked, undercooked, everything wrong. I was honestly on the verge of tears. I still am when I think about how her face turned red and she berated me for ruining this day for everyone. She said a lot of harmful things before her husband stopped her, but I still can hear her saying that she never wanted me to be there in the first place because I always mess everything up. At this point, I was crying. Some of E's aunts got really angry and yelled back at E's mom to leave me alone. E's dad pulled his wife away into another room and E hugged me tight and said that we were leaving right then and there. Honestly, I don't remember much from the way back to E's apartment or that evening. I mostly cried and felt really numb. It's 4 a.m. now and I just woke up to write this because it's eating me up. How do I make this right and how can I fix this? Am I in the wrong for going on a pre-planned and paid-for vacation after my boyfriend's father passed away? My boyfriend, 30 male, and I, 28 female, have been together for 4 years and have been living together for the past 18 months. Our lease is up at the end of the month and we were hoping to have purchased a house by now, but that didn't happen. So we decided to just renew our lease and keep the house hunting going. I've also had a very stressful year career-wise, so this fall a few friends and I booked a girls trip to Mexico for a yoga and wellness retreat. We are leaving next Thursday and all of us are really looking forward to it. The week before Thanksgiving, my boyfriend's dad unexpectedly passed away. My boyfriend immediately flew out to be with his mom and his siblings. He ended up staying there for Thanksgiving instead of coming home, which I completely understand. Due to the holiday and scheduling conflicts with the other relatives, the funeral wasn't scheduled until the Friday after I leave for my trip. When he told me the date of the funeral, I reminded him that I would be gone. He asked if there was any way I could reschedule the trip or get a refund, and I told him I would look into it. But the trip was booked through a group rate and was 100% non-refundable. And none of my friends wanted to go through the hassle of rescheduling, which sucks, but I get it. I saved a lot of money to take this trip and really need the escape. And if I cancel, I don't get the money back at all. I explained all of this to my boyfriend and he asked me what I was going to do. I apologized and told him that I think that I'm going to go on the trip because I don't want that money to go away for nothing. All of this was over the phone because he was still with his family and he said that we would talk more when we got back. When he came home, we talked more about it and I apologized so many times when I was explaining why I was still going to go on the trip. He seemed to understand and told me that it was fine. But when I asked him when we were going to sign the papers to renew our lease because I want that done before I leave, he said that he's not doing that anymore. He said that he came back to figure some things out at work and then he's flying back for the funeral and will be staying with his mom while they're figuring some things out. I asked him why he didn't talk to me about this first and he said that he's talking to me about it right now. He said that his mom needs help so he's going to stay with her. I asked him what I'm supposed to do about a place to live and he told me to figure it out with my friends and our vacation. I told him that he's putting me in a bad situation and he seemed fine with me going on this trip and missing the funeral. He said he was going to beg me to cancel my trip and that I made my decision on my own, so he's making this decision for himself. I told him he's being an a-hole and he should have just talked to me about this first. He said I'm the one who prioritized drinking on a beach over being at his dad's funeral, so if anyone's an a-hole here, it's me. Am I in the wrong?
This is quite possibly the sweetest revenge I have ever heard of. So there was this really beautiful girl in my school, we'll call her Amy, and she was one of those popular girls. And my best friend Steve had the biggest crush on Amy. He asked her out so many times, but she was literally just always busy. I kind of felt a little bit like, at what point, Steve, are we going to take the hint? However, that being said, she didn't really discourage him though. I personally just think she liked the attention. So one day, my friend Steve ended up getting some tickets to a sold out Harry Styles concert. He'd bought them from a friend last minute that had to go out of town for an emergency. So Mike immediately called the girl of his dreams, Amy, and she immediately accepted because, let's face it, who is passing on Harry Styles tickets? When I tell you, I have literally never seen Steve happier. Okay, so fast forward to the night of the concert. So they were both stood outside the concert just getting their merch. Amy suddenly turned around and was like, oh, there's my friend. I'm just going to go say hi. I'll be right back. And you guessed it, she in fact did not come right back. So Steve went into the concert and he was like, well, I'll just sit here and wait for when she comes back. Because realistically, that's the only place she's going to be able to find him again now. So So Steve sat for the whole show and she literally never came back. Now Steve is literally the biggest gentleman. Even after she ditched him for like the entire concert, he still waited for her in the car park afterwards to take her home. Boy is literally the sweetest. And obviously she didn't come out, she wasn't there, she wasn't answering her phone. So Steve left obviously feeling very hurt. So she did end up ringing him the next day. Apparently the friend that she'd seen was actually her ex. She then went on to say that she'd had a really good talk with her ex and how they had sorted so much stuff out. She said that they had just lost track of time. And it turns out that she didn't even watch any of the concert. She stood outside and just spoke to her ex the whole time. And then Steve, he accepted her apology and he asked if they could give it another go and try again. And she said yeah. And she even said that she was shocked at how nice and forgiving he was with it all. Oh, Amy, you better wait, girl. So next Saturday is date night. Steve had booked this unreal seafood restaurant that was about an hour up the coast. He was polite and chatty the whole way there. And in a very clever move, he made the reservation in her name. They were seated. Steve ordered a really expensive, nice bottle of wine. Now, he told her to treat herself. So Amy goes ahead and orders loads of expensive stuff off the menu. Halfway through the meal, their bill was at $300. So then Steve excused himself to go use the toilet. And he made sure to use the line, "I'll be right back." And at that point, Steve walked out the restaurant, into the car park, and drove away, leaving Amy with the bill and without a ride home.